Hello, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to the Retro Classic Movie Show, my show on the channel that is dedicated to anything from the 1970s all the way up to the early 2000s. And this is my show with my amazing co-host as well, Mr. DJ Anubis of the Metal Tavern Radio.
Thank you.
Yes, he's an amazing guy. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Metal Tavern Radio. It's doing some amazing things. Great guy, great content, all that good stuff. But this show is, if you haven't heard of it, but if you're a fan of it, then you know how it works. But for those that don't, every month I'll pick a film, we'll review it. Anubis will pick the following month and we'll review it. And that's how it goes. So this month is my good friend Mr. DJ Anubis's pick, and you chose They Live. So, my friend, why did you pick this particular film?
It's pretty much a classic. Hadn't really talked about it in a while. Hadn't really watched it in a while. Like you, I didn't. This has been first time in quite a long time that I've sat and actually sat back down with it. But I always liked it. Carpenter did a lot of great movies in the '80s, and this is no different. Also, for this particular movie, it was interesting just because that John chose to use a wrestler as his main star, which was a little bit different at the time. So Roddy Piper, of course, being the guy involved with our main character. So that makes the whole film interesting, and the plot's good too. So
yeah, I agreed. Like, I generally feel this is an underrated sci-fi classic. It's got a unique story. It's campy as hell with Roddy Piper being in the lead role, and his one-liners are legendary. I hadn't seen this film for a good, I would say, 10 years. So when you suggested it, obviously rewatching it today, I was just transported back to years ago when I was younger and I was sitting around. I think I actually rented this from the local video store, Zodiac Videos, which was my local video store. And I remember watching this. I think I actually got this like it's a double feature because I got this one and the other film with Roddy Piper in with the frog people. What's that one called?
Frogtown, yeah.
Frog, yeah. I got that. I got them both together and I watched them like back to back. So that's a great film as well with Roddy Piper in also. But for those that do not know, They Live is a 1988 film, both written and directed by John Carpenter. The story follows they influence our decisions without us knowing it. They numb our senses without us feeling it. They control our lives without us realizing it. They live. And it's basically about an alien invasion where they have basically taken over the wealthy and the rich of society in politics, and they've kind of disguised themselves, infiltrated our human race, and they use that to basically control the people and the world. And obviously, like you say, it stars Roddy Piper, Keith David, and Meg Foster, who I think all of them do a really decent job in this particular film. When it comes to the story, though, it starts off where you don't actually find out his name. I don't think he's ever named, but he does have a name. So the character that Roddy Piper plays, he's actually called Nada, yes, but he's never, I don't think, actually ever called out loud Nada on screen. So Nada's like a drifter. He drifts from town to town looking for work, and he suddenly, he comes into the city looking for work, and he gets a job which is like on a building site near like this desolate part of the town with many other drifters and people just trying to earn some money. That's where he's introduced to Frank Armitage, who's played by Keith David, I have to say as well, I don't know if you feel the same. He's a very underrated actor as well.
Yes.
For
And
me,
it's another film that he did with Carpenter because he did The Thing as well with Kurt Russell. So
yeah. So he's got like history with Carpenter, and the great thing with Keith David, as much as he's a fantastic physical actor, he's also an amazing voice actor. Obviously, I was born in 1983, and I kind of grew up in the 90s, and there was a show that came out on Disney called Gargoyles. And he voiced the lead gargoyle Goliath in that show, and his voice work is just brilliant. He brought all the characters he played in that show to life. Very much in the same way like Kevin Conroy, who did the voice of Batman in the 90s animated show. Like everybody who heard that voice just recognized and just believed he was Batman. So whenever I heard Keith David's voice, it just echoed through when he played the character Goliath. But like you say, he's in Los Angeles, California. He's now working on this site when all of a sudden there's people going in and out of the church across the road, and there's like gospel singers. One of the, I guess, the site managers keeps going back and forward from the church. Prior to that, you had the priest of the church was on the streets, preaching about something taking over the world, something, corrupting the society. They are here, and Nara's kind of taking that in with, but not really taking, like, fully understanding it, but he's kind of getting a sense of it.
He's a very curious guy. Like he's just curious of how he's inquisitive. So like even though he shouldn't be putting his nose in any people's business, he just can't help himself. He's just that way. That's just how he's wired.
Yeah. And soon he decides to wander across to the church and go in, and then he sees all these boxes with these sunglasses in and the big sound system that's forcing out the gospel music, and it's like this little group of people who are talking about the resistance in many ways against this conspiracy. And one of the people who's in the church is the guy who every now and then on national television they would interfere into the broadcast and broadcast his message across to the world to say, we're being taken over. There's an invasion. The rich and the authority figures are now being took over by this unknown alien force, and everyone just thinks it's propaganda. Everyone just thinks it's some guy who's like mouthing off, and before you know it, even Nada's like questioning it all and just thinks it's a bit crazy. And then Keith David's character, Armoridge, he's basically a good guy who has a family, a wife and kids, who just wants to knuckle down, put his head down and work. And he's worried that Nada is going to interfere with it all and cost him his job and his livelihood. And then things get really interesting because the church gets invaded. And then after it's invaded and people are like on the streets as bulldozers, there's cops, he kind of runs out and gets a pair of these glasses and ends up walking around the streets. Now, in your opinion, when the next few scenes, it like opens the whole plot up to the sci-fi elements. So what was your feeling on the next part of the plot?
Well, it was always very cool how it happened. I mean, obviously the people in the church, when Nada goes in there, initially when he goes in there, there's like all these boxes, and he finds like this stowaway place, a little storage unit where there's more boxes. And so when the place gets raided and then they, demolish the area next to it where everyone's sleeping, like the homeless or whatever, he goes back in and gets a box, and he thinks he thinks he's going to find something like controversial in terms of like is it drugs or like why did they raid
Yeah.
this place? Because they had all the cops, all these helicopters. So by the time he goes into an alleyway and finds like a box of glasses, he's like, "Is this it? Is this what they were hiding?" And so he steals one because it's just okay, free pair of sunglasses, right? So he starts walking around, and these glasses, you put them on, they basically turn everything to black and white, but they also expose uh, billboards, magazines, signs on windows. So a sign might say something like "open," for instance, "we're open," but then behind it, when you wear these glasses, it might says like "obey,"
Yeah.
or conform or whatever. So he's
Yeah.
finding out that with these glasses, he's seeing things that shouldn't be, and then that's not even the scarier part. The scarier part is when he's at a magazine rack, and a guy walks up, and this guy is like got big eyes, like just sunken, just almost looks like he's been acid was thrown on his face almost. Yeah. And so he sees it, and you can see people around him. This is how the glasses would show. Glasses would show you both humans and these other things that he doesn't even really understand yet. So, he's freaking out. Like this is like a whole new world to him now. It's like, what is going on? Who are these people? And finally, he's being trying to be arrested because people start seeing him because he starts talking shit. He starts saying like, "Baby, you got real ugly." It's one of those things, right?
Yeah. Like another great thing I liked about the initial reveal of the aliens is that when he's walking down the street and he first puts the glasses on, as you can see, it's in color.
Yeah.
And when he puts the sunglasses on initially, when you first see the aliens, it goes to black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like uncovering the cover, because obviously when he puts on the glasses, it goes to black and white. So if he's reading a book and it's got a coloured page on it, puts the glasses on, like you see, it might say "open" on the page in colour, but when he puts the glasses, it'll say "OB" in black and white writing. So when he looks initially at the person that's now being revealed as the alien, they're now in black and white. And like you see, the first instances is where he sees the man at the newspaper stand. The second time's where he goes into like the grocery store and it's the old lady, and that's when he goes, "Oh, you got ugly." And she immediately understands he can see her undercover.
Yeah.
And this is where there's another kind of reveal where all of the aliens have these watches. And the watches are like communication devices, so they can communicate to command. And she initially says, "We've got somebody who can see us." And that's when the police come to arrest him. And he kind of breaks away from the police. And this is where I think he heads into the bank just before we meet Meg Foster's character. And when he walks into the bank, he's got the glasses on, and he's took the shotgun from the police car and other weapons, and he looks around the bank, and you can see a handful of people who are human and a handful of who are these aliens, and he just goes to town on the aliens.
Yeah, and I do like also because at least part of the earlier film. So after he comes across the two cops who are aliens, he comes across another cop who's human. And he could have shot this cop, but he knows this cop's human. So he says, "Drop your gun and just beat your feet and run." So it shows you at this point that Nada isn't looking to hurt humans. Like he just wants to destroy whatever these other things are. But we learn later that, some humans are collaborating with the alien species.
The collaborators.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the great thing is, we've mentioned this before, is that this film has a lot of great one-liners. in the bank, some of the one-liners are amazing. So what? Mama don't like tattletales. And this is just before he turns the gun with the glasses on. Like you see it in colour there. And then suddenly it goes to black and white. And then boom. Like you can see there, as he's firing, he's in colour. But then the shot in black and white.
Yep.
So it's just a great way of doing cinematography to like showcase the difference of when you have the glasses on and what you're seeing and projecting from the glasses, is to see these aliens in the black and white. But there's a number of amazing one-liners from this particular film. Like you see, there's the scene with the bubble gum when he's in the bank, when he says, "I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum."
And that was actually one that Roddy came up with himself, that particular line. So
Yeah. So basically, he runs roughshod around the bank, and then as he's trying to escape, he goes into the car park and he meets the very attractive Meg
Meg
Foster.
Foster.
Yeah, Meg Foster, who plays the character of Holly. And I can be honest with you, I kind of sussed her kind of reveal out straight because she seemed very too calm, cool, and collected. So basically, he takes her hostage as a way to get away and goes back to her apartment and, talks to her, tries to, make her understand the situation that's going on around them. And she seems very offish.
Yeah.
And initially, it's coming across like she's staying cool, calm, and collected because she's frightened for her life because he's a man who's acting very erratic, very out there, and he's got a gun in his arm.
Yeah, they tried to sort of portray her as just overly naive, but in the end, like she's just way too calm, and the way that she even like at one point gets the better of him and throws him out a window, So it's like she can clearly defend herself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When she hugs him out, when she gets tied out the window, and
Yeah.
he's just hits the floor, it's like crazy. And then the next thing you know, he goes back to the site, back to where Armoridge is, Keith David's character, and he's trying to convince everybody of what's going on. But of course, Armoridge is having none of it. He's not convinced. He just thinks he's acting crazy, and the police are after him. He's frightened for his life. He just wants to support his family. And that's where they break out into this epic street fight in the alleyway, which is just crazy.
Yeah, and the thing that's so great about this, again, you see the wrestling move there. Apparently they kind of fought for real. Like aside from anything to the face, they actually were just kind of really fighting. It was supposed to be like a short 20-second fight, but Keith David and Roddy wanted to do something longer, and Carpenter liked it, so he let him keep doing it. But there was another moment in the fight where it actually calls back to Roddy's character as a wrestler. And that's when Roddy tries to go for the nuts. Like he's trying to do that uppercut.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
like, his character is like, "Oh, you dirty." Because that's always Piper was always known to be like a dirty wrestler, so it made sense to throw that in there.
Yeah, and this fight initially starts because Nada wants him to wants to put the glasses on, and he says, "If you don't wear them glasses," he says, "if you don't put the glasses on, I'm going to make you eat the trash." And that's initially what kind of starts this brawl. But then eventually, Armoridge does put on the glasses, and you does get to see the aliens. And then this is where they kind of team up to take down the aliens. So they do become like a tag team, which was fun. And I think there was, you could tell there was real chemistry there between Roddy Piper and Keith David. I don't know if Keith was a fan of wrestling or if he just became a fan of Piper because of his acting. Because there's many wrestlers out there that are trying to be actors, but there's only a couple that are really actually quite decent at it. I think the main one for me right now is Dave Bautista. I think he's a quality actor, and he's changed his look. He's thinned down. He wants to be taken more serious. But back in like the 80s, he might not have been, he was always a popular wrestling superstar, but I think when it came to acting ability between him and, say, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, hands down, was the better of the two.
Well, the funny thing is that, when you think about, because like when Stallone initially tried to go do stuff like, Don't Stop or My Mom Will Shoot,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't really pay off the way he wanted to. I mean, eventually, when Stallone did Copland and stuff like that, where he kind of changed his look, he gained some weight and all that, it worked. But I thought Schwarzenegger did a pretty good job. Like when he went to do like Twins or Kindergarten Cop, they actually used his size to his advantage as an actor and just had fun with it. But, Batista to me would be fine as big as he is, obviously, but he has lost a lot of weight. He's slimmed down a lot. So I don't know if he's trying to just go for other roles other than big guys, but I think he would have been fine, the way he was, because he's still a very good actor, regardless.
Yeah, oh, great. But so basically now that they team up, they end up going back to where they find Gilbert, who's like the leader of the resistance. And this is where things change. So instead of them wearing the glasses, because wearing the sunglasses makes it obvious to the aliens that they can be detected. So they're given these contact lenses. So after giving these contact lenses, what happens next is they're planning on, trying to find a way to reveal the aliens to the world. But they're also, and I thought this was amazing story writing, because obviously in today's society, in the year 2026, and even before, there was a lot of talk about global warming, a lot of talks on the environment and how the world's changing, drastically with environmental issues. And back in the day, and we're talking in 1988, in this film, part of the plot is the aliens are using global warming to change the atmosphere of the Earth to be more like their home planet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's then discovered that they have these human collaborators that are working with the aliens to better themselves, to keep them in wealth. So just amazing the fact that even back in 1988, this was things people were talking about and adding it into these amazing stories. And now in 2026, it's a big, political talking point around the world about climate change and global warming.
Or even still, they're talking about wealth, the disparity of, the rich people versus those that don't. That's still a big talking point now in today's society as well.
Yeah. So as the plot progresses, there is a plan that is put together there. They're going to try and get to like where the aliens like headquarters are, and they're going to try and invade it and do something to basically expose the aliens to the world. I think the go-to is they find like a place where there's a portal, and they go in the portal and they transport themselves. And when they go to this place, they then see the collaborators working alongside the aliens and exchanging their resources for wealth. And this is
because they actually had one homeless guy who's the drifter, played by he's actually in another Carpenter film, George Buck Flowers. He ends up showing up at that party that's down in the tunnel system or whatever it is that the aliens reside in. And he starts talking about how, because he was a homeless guy, now he's all in a suit and he's drinking champagne, and he's kind of like, yeah, guys, it's better on the other side of the world here now, So that's where you start to see where the aliens are able to convince humans to work with them, even though it probably won't work out for the humans in the end. They've managed to convince them, you know what, you just help us out and we make you rich and you can have everything you want and all this and this.
Yeah. So So basically, like you say, the drifter, he was like undercover, like a spy in the resistance. And because a few minutes prior to that, the police invade the resistance is a threshold, and the cops are there, and the cops wipe them all out. And luckily, Nada and Armoridge managed to get away, and you see they find their way to the headquarters and transport themselves there. And the great thing is, they kind of fit right in because they arrive and there's like people around who are like the new collaborators.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of mingle in with them, and people just immediately assume the new informants are the new collaborators that help the aliens take over the world. And they get a tour around the facilities, which I thought which was batshit crazy. The fact that you teleport yourself into this alien threshold. It's like joining the back of a queue of like a ride without a ticket and manage to get on the ride.
Well, it's two things around this area of the film that are good and bad. The first one is when Carpenter brings back Meg Foster's character at the new hideout. It kind of like, because soon after that it gets raided, so you have to kind of start thinking, well, maybe she is involved. Like, you're already starting to put it back together that she's somehow involved with this. Somehow she found him. We don't even know how she found him. But once they get down there, and this is good writing by Carpenter, is that he did use that drifter changed over to the Richie Rich to kind of give them the tour. So it's like you had a reason for them to actually be accepted now down there, because he assumed that they had been convinced to join with the aliens. He didn't bother to really check to see if they were down there for a good reason.
He didn't do his due diligence or his security check. He just went, "Oh, come on in, guys."
Yeah.
And then he does the tour around the facility, and this is where Nada and Armoridge discover the transmitter that is transmitting all of the signals around the world of these undercover messages. And it's also the transmitter that disguises them from the humans that don't know that they're walking about. So they hatch a plan basically to destroy the transmitter so everything can be revealed to the rest of the world. And this is where we get like a big reveal, because you've seen Holly, like you say, and then there was the big where he got pushed out of the window and he falls and he didn't die, and then you don't see Holly ever again pretty much through the rest of the film. And then suddenly, as they're hatching this plan, Holly makes an appearance and Frank is killed. Frank is killed by Holly, and then it's revealed she is a collaborator. So this kind of hint why she was so cool, calm, and collected right at the beginning, because she already knew about the aliens' existence. She kind of was working with them, and I guess in many ways she's probably give them information that kind of led to maybe Nada being caught as well. And this is where things get interesting, because then Nada has to then kill Holly, which he successfully does, but then he becomes like the dying hero, because there's a police helicopter which fatally wounds him. But just before he dies, he destroys the transmitter, and then because the transmitter has been destroyed, we now get the reveal around the world of all of the aliens. So these are the news broadcasters who every night would host the news and give out the dailies of what's going on. And when the transmitter is destroyed, their true identities and appearance is revealed. And I always laugh. I haven't got an image of it, but there's one reveal that always makes us laugh. So right at the end of the film, when Nada gives the middle finger and dies, you see all these different aliens being revealed. So you've got those aliens, you've got the one in the bar who I showed earlier. And then there's one particular one where you've got this couple, at it, having amazing sex. And the next thing you know, she's looking down at him and he's like this horrible alien. and then
He's
it
like,
just
"What's up, baby?" Because he doesn't know that he's being exposed.
and then bang, it goes to black and everything's been revealed. So for me, like I say, I find this film to be an underrated sci-fi classic. I think it's one of John Carpenter's most unique movies. Like I say, I like the cinematography, how it goes from colour to black and white. I like how Roddy Piper just homes it in and just brings the humour, and he's like this heroic vigilante that goes out there to save the world, and like the alien designs I thought are fascinating. Now, I know John Carpenter's had, the things been remade a few times. Uh, would you want to see They Live remade? Would you think after all this time they should do maybe a more serious, darker version, or?
Well, in some ways, this one is kind of dark because again, no one lives that you think are going to live. We think that this might be one of those things where Roddy's character lives, or even Keith David's, but um, there's a part of me that wouldn't mind seeing like a reboot. I don't really want a remake per se, but a reboot. If you got Jason Statham to play the part of Nada, I think that'd be kind of fun.
Mhm.
It's not that you need to improve this one, because that's not the way that I would approach it. But if you wanted to do just like an updated version of it, as long as you kind of keep it fun, I think that's something that can be done.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think like a new or like a remake. I think because it'd be fascinating to see what they would do with modern technology in cinematography. Like, I'm just trying to think of a director who I think would be good at doing a movie like this, and making it both funny and terrifying. Maybe the guy who's just done he's doing Lee Cronin, who did the Mummy, who's doing the new Mummy. I could see him potentially doing a version of it. He's also the one who did Evil Dead Rise.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see a director like that who could bring that in, or the director who did the Evil Dead remake, because that was scary, but it still had a little bit of humor to it.
Yeah,
So, and you need somebody that can do a good balance of both.
a bouncer. Yeah.
Hmm. So overall, my friend, what would you say is your final thought on They Live in Rain?
The movie still holds up. It's still a lot of fun. Like you said earlier, it's still a very underrated, underappreciated sci-fi film. It runs very fast, but it doesn't really hurt anything in the film at all. The performances are good. Great cast. Great storyline. And it's still a 10 out of 10 for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I say, I haven't seen this film in over 10 years plus, and it was a pleasant rewatch. I really enjoyed it. Like I say, I notice things now that I probably never noticed the first time round, because I was probably just bang into Roddy Piper's performance and all the gunfiring and the craziness of it all. But like this time, I really appreciated like the cinematography and like what he was doing with color and black and white and the messages. And like I see, I picked up on the fact that he was talking way back in 1988 about global warming and how the world's being affected, and they are issues that we talk about constantly now. But this was part of his fictional storyline, and for me, I would have to probably agree with you and give this a 10 out of 10. So,
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I can appreciate about the film is that, we talk about it all the time about the wokeism or whatever, but this is how you do a movie. When you want to talk about social issues or politics or whatever, this is how you do it, because you don't preach to your audience. You just use it as like a tool for your story, but let your characters run the gambit. Let them be the focal point. And so even though Carpenter is addressing things that he probably saw in society back then, he's not trying to preach to you about it. He's just using it as a tool throughout the movie.
That's a great thing I think I love about like sci-fi or action movies is you can do a sci-fi movie. For example, yeah, there's another one well, straight away that we'll know of, Godzilla, 1954. That was about the aftermath of nuclear bombs and like the effects of radiation poisoning from the aftermath of a bomb being, released. And Godzilla was that metaphor. So you can use science fiction or action or drama movies to tell real strong plots with real life messages in them in a way without, like you see, without the wokeism, be able to convey the messages that need to be told and for people to understand in a way that it's easier for them to understand in the confines of a movie like this.
Yep.
So yeah, so great choice. I haven't chosen my pick yet because I'm still thinking about it. But tell us, my friend, what is coming up next on the Metal Tavern Radio.
So far, not too much. I haven't really set my schedule yet for next week, but tomorrow I'll be joining Jedi for a podcast on his channel to talk about the '80s nostalgia thing. I'm not sure exactly everything involved with that, but that's going to be on his channel at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then the Ghouls of Midnight pick that I have for Wednesday night will be a movie called Beleth. And I'm not sure the year on that yet, but it's one of the Blu-rays that I got more recently that I haven't seen yet. So
nice. As for me, I think Monday I'm potentially going to the theatres to watch 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, because it's had some really great reviews. I've also had some good word of mouth, so if I see that on Monday, I will be putting a review of that up on the channel not long after I've been to theatres to see it. Then on the 24th of January, which is next Saturday, we're going to be doing the 60th anniversary special for Gamera, the Guardian of the Galaxy. That's right. Godzilla's rival has turned 60, so we need to celebrate him in style and give him the love he deserves. Then on the 29th of January, it's the next Into the Darkness franchise discussion. You, me, Mr. Tony the Dead, and Anthony Jordan will be talking all things Insidious. So that's what I've got planned into the future on the channel. But thanks again, my friend, for being here, for doing this with me. I love doing the retro classic movie show. It's one of my favourite segments to do. Got a great co-host as always with me by my side. But for everybody watching, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to the Metal Tavern Radio. And if you want, give the Entertainment Headquarters a like, share and subscribe as well. And like I always say, keep on enjoying the movies, keep on enjoying all things entertainment, and we'll catch us all at the next one.